Tonight on 7 News, tears as Carlton great Stephen Silvani goes into bat for his rapist son. Green light the $10 billion Westgate Tunnel to open on Sunday. How much you'll pay. The chaotic aftermath of a horror crash that killed a Melbourne teen. Anger as vile messages are sprayed on a memorial to fallen police heroes. The high-tech help promising to boost your super balance. And the Aussie bowlers hard at work in secret while England continue to let their hair down in Noosa.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. Carlton legend Stephen Silvani has choked back tears while vowing to clear his youngest son's name as he awaits sentencing for rape. Tom Silvani's victim bravely stared him down in court today, telling how his evil, calculated crime changed her life forever.
5 days from son Tom being sentenced for rape, the Silvanis are at breaking point.
We're very grateful for our ongoing support and our family. Sorry, mate.
They'd come from court where their son's victim described over 28 minutes the hell her life has become.
Because of you, there's been times I couldn't even hug my dad because all I could feel was you touching me.
But Stephen and Joe Silvani are convinced the jury got it wrong.
Joe and I, together with our family members and friends, are so disappointed with the outcome. We all love and support our son Tom. Our son continues to maintain his innocence and we stand firmly behind him.
The now 22-year-old woman detailed her nightmares, post-traumatic stress disorder, lost friendships and jobs and debilitating health conditions as she struggles to get over the assault that occurred in January last year.
You raped me not once but twice. You know this, I know this, and now so does everyone else.
She delivered the statement in person, detailing the horrible thoughts that replay in her mind.
You holding my hands behind my back, where you got some kind of satisfaction out of immobilising me and raping me, no matter how many times I told you to stop.
A jury found Tom Silvani guilty last week. A suppression order on his identity was lifted just yesterday. Tom Silvani wasn't in court, at least not in person. He watched via video link from prison and showed almost no reaction. He sat and stared straight ahead almost the entire time his victim read her statement. Tom Silvani pretended to be the victim's boyfriend, jumping into bed with her and raping her. Then altered an Uber receipt to cover his tracks. Tom Silvani's girlfriend has stood by him.
Seeing how easily you were able to turn her against me with gaslighting and lies left me feeling a type of betrayal that I never thought I'd experience.
We will be considering our options to appeal and shall not be making any further comments on this case. Our goal is to clear his name and bring him home. We ask for our privacy and to be respectful. We're very grateful for our ongoing support and our family. Sorry, mate.
Tom Silvani will be sentenced Wednesday. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
It's official. Melbourne's $10 billion Westgate Tunnel will open to traffic on Sunday. But what should have been a crowning moment for the Allen government turned into a fizzer when the toll road operator broke the news without the Premier's permission.
In politics, nothing beats delivering good news.
The Westgate Tunnel will be open to motorists from this Sunday. This is a big moment.
But on her landmark project, the Premier was trumped by toll operator Transurban, which paid for an 8-page news lift-out.
The front page of the paper says tunnel set to open on Sunday.
We're working through the details and we'll confirm that date very soon.
The Allen government somehow pretending it hadn't happened.
Well, it is going to be opening very soon. We're working through some final details.
Oh, come off it. Sunday?
Very soon.
Sunday?
I know, very soon.
A small slip from the Roads Minister hinted at a grand announcement.
No doubt you'll be able to ask Transurban that's short, in...
Hours later, the Premier announced it as breaking news on Twitter.
Well, we've announced it right now. We're announcing and confirming right now.
It's not official until we're standing here now.
The largest upgrade of the road network in the booming West in almost half a century. The Westgate Tunnel will provide another connection between the western suburbs and the CBD, the new route shaving around 20 minutes. It was initially costed at $5.5 billion. The project is now billions over budget and 3 years behind schedule.
It is like Grand Theft Auto. It's the highest tolls in the state, and we're told, whoop-de-doo, we should give the government a pat on the back.
The tolls set at just over $4 per trip for one way in a car, $6.54 for a ute or van. For trucks, a single trip could cost almost $30. On weekdays, you'll pay an extra $6 by car in the morning peak.
The cost to drivers doesn't end there. The price will go up on January 1 to $4.13 for a single trip. Unless you're travelling on a weekend in January, then it will be free.
They're obsessed with gimmicks. They've got more gimmicks. We'll give it to you for free for January until February comes.
And state political reporter Rochelle Brown joins us now. Rochelle, it's all systems go.
Well, just about, Mitch. All the signs will start to be switched on after dark tomorrow evening, and all the systems will be put online, meaning that the final preparations are in full swing for all the trucks and the cars to finally roll through the tunnel at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. Now, the trucking industry was supposed to be given a 7-day heads up about the opening day. Instead, they were lumped in with the rest of us and received a notification today. The Allen government will be banking on a much smoother opening day. Mitch?
Rochelle Brown beside the controversial tunnel. Thank you. A 17-year-old boy has been killed in a Truganina crash that left 7 others in hospital. Police are blaming the tragedy on a P-plater who made a critical split-second mistake.
The horrifying aftermath of a 3-car collision. Filmed by an 18-year-old injured along with her cousin.
I just think, damn, I was pretty lucky to get out of that alive.
They were driving along Hopkins Road in Truganina last night.
I just see a car slide towards me and it hit me and then it rolled over and then ended up into the ditch.
Police say the 18-year-old Honda driver was speeding when he attempted to overtake another vehicle and misjudged it, slamming into Marina's Commodore and a third vehicle.
A little graze on my hand from the airbag exploding, that's about it. And then some bruising on my abdomen.
There were 5 teenagers inside the Honda, more than the P-plater was allowed. One of his passengers, a 17-year-old boy, couldn't be saved and died at the scene.
That one act in itself might not represent an extreme or outrageous behaviour, but it has had catastrophic effects.
In total, 6 teenagers and a 23-year-old man were taken to hospital, their injuries ranging from minor to serious. The car that's been left barely recognisable now be towed away to be forensically examined as a family comes to terms with the loss of a loved one just before Christmas.
It's just terrifying to think what those people will now remember Christmas 2025 for. Forever, it will be tarnished by what's happened.
Geordie Wright, 7 News.
Armed crime squad detectives have charged a 55-year-old man over a shooting in Point Lonsdale that left his alleged victim on life support in the Alfred Hospital. Police are probing if the shooting was linked to a neighbourhood dispute, with graffiti appearing on a home opposite the crime scene. Vandals have been slammed as disgusting beyond belief for targeting the police memorial on St Kilda Road. There are now calls for beefed up security after the sacred site was defaced for the second time in 12 months.
Red paint and anti-police slurs at the site, honouring Victoria's bravest.
Spray painting with red paint, phrases such as good cop equals dead cop or death to Australia.
And an acronym well known to police.
I won't actually use the term, but it is certainly an anti-police slogan.
The St Kilda Road Memorial targeted, and the vandals behind this attack and a similar one 12 months ago still at large.
My partner, Glenn Humphreys, was killed in the line of duty on the Eastern Freeway. Whilst I kept his ashes, that is basically a gravesite for me to go.
To think that someone would do this at a time when we've recently lost 2 of our own is disgusting and beyond belief.
The only evidence so far discarded just 400 metres away.
It's a real stain on our Victorian society at the moment.
Investigators will depend on dashcam footage and information from the public to help them find the suspects, as the sacred site doesn't have permanent CCTV.
They're discussions I'll have with the City of Melbourne later today to see if that can be reinstated as quickly as possible.
The graffiti cleared and honour restored. Jacqueline Stanley, 7 News.
The under-16 social media ban is facing its first real test from a tech titan just days after taking effect. Reddit has filed a challenge against the teen lockout in the High Court, claiming the law is being applied to the company inaccurately. It also argues the law limits free speech and presents privacy risks. An initial hearing is expected in February. The travel rort scandal that's haunting the Prime Minister has taken another twist, with a second minister referring herself for investigation. The opposition has also thrown fuel onto the fire, offering its support to tighten the rules around big spending politicians.
Albo hears from a higher power.
Okay, do you hear me?
The gods tipped a bucket on Prime Minister Albanese's Newcastle announcement of help for Australia's biggest aluminium smelter. Perhaps they too are fed up with MPs' gargantuan travel expenses.
I've said to IPEA, please give us some advice.
IPEA, the Parliamentary Expenses Authority, is already considering Minister Annika Wells' expenses for her and family, the list infuriating for voters in her Brisbane electorate.
She's abusing the privileges that has been given to her, when yet every battling Australian is actually trying to get ends meet.
For me, it's really not good. Yeah, I think it's crazy things.
Today, Attorney-General Michelle Rowland followed Wells, asking IPEA to examine a family trip she took to Perth. The taxpayer billed more than $21,000. Her total family travel bill in government, almost $50,000. Now the authority is advising the Prime Minister on whether the entitlements need overhauling.
And we'll take that on board.
The Prime Minister and his ministers hold the pen on all these rules.
But Susan Lee argues this is not about expense rules, this is about the Ministerial Code of Conduct, and those who breach it ought to be sacked. She should know 9 years ago a travel expenses scandal forced then Minister Susan Lee to quit.
I put my hand up, I apologised, and I resigned.
And coming to light late today, claims that threats were made to kill Minister Annika Wells and her family. Australian Federal Police say roughly a fortnight ago the Minister's office showed them 2 emails that allegedly contained the death threats. Police say they executed a search warrant in southwestern Sydney today, arrested a 31-year-old man and seized his electronic devices. He has since appeared in court and has been bailed on a charge that carries a maximum 10 years in prison. Peter.
Tim Lester in Canberra, thank you. Brittany Higgins has been declared bankrupt after the federal court stepped in over the debt owed to her ex-boss. Former Liberal Minister Linda Reynolds has been pursuing Higgins for legal costs, potentially worth millions, after a court found she was defamed in a series of social media posts. A trustee will now see if there's any money left from Higgins' $2.4 million settlement with the federal government. Climate protesters have won a landmark legal case against Victoria Police over the force's use of excessive use of pepper spray. The Supreme Court found officers acted unlawfully during a violent protest in the city.
Facing off against police at Melbourne's Convention Centre today, these protesters secured a win against the force in the Supreme Court.
Thrilled with the outcome today.
A judge ruling lead plaintiff Jordan Brown was subjected to unlawful battery when he was hit with pepper spray twice during a mining conference protest in 2019.
Judge Claire Harris finding the deliberate deployment constituted cruel and degrading treatment and limited his right to freedom of movement and the right to peaceful protest. The judge ruling the incident contributed to the plaintiff's physical and psychological injury too.
It should not be used in the manner that it was used on Jordan Brown.
Mr Brown was awarded $54,000 in damages, although he wanted $200,000, saying today is a vindication that the police's conduct was wrong, the system is wrong, and it all needs to change.
The judge emphasised that today's decision will not set a precedent for Victoria Police's use of OC spray, saying her judgment was limited purely to the facts of this case.
In a statement following the decision, Victoria Police said there are strict rules on the use of OC spray, which is a vital tool to resolve violent situations. It is unclear if the force will appeal the decision. Georgia Bennett-Murphy, 7 News.
The head of NATO has warned the threat of World War III is at Europe's doorstep if something isn't urgently done about Russia. Ukraine is handing over an updated peace plan, but it seems unlikely Moscow will agree to it.
As Russia advances on its enemy, a warning these attacks could soon stretch beyond Ukraine's borders.
We are Russia's next target.
NATO chief Mark Rutte urging allies to step up coordination against Russian aggression, suggesting the threat of a world war is as close as ever.
Russia has brought war back to Europe, and we must be prepared for the scale of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured.
The process to peace is only inching closer. Volodymyr Zelensky met with US officials who he says want Ukraine to withdraw entirely from the Donbass region. That area would be demilitarised as a free economic zone. The Ukrainian leader wants assurances Russia won't take over, with any territorial concessions to be approved in a referendum and backed by robust security guarantees, including from Australia.
And we underlined it impossible without Europe and all members of our coalition of the willing, from Canada to Japan, Australia and New Zealand.
The updated 20-point plan now rests with Donald Trump before it even gets to Moscow, with word of an understanding on the agreement by Christmas.
It's, a little bit complicated because you're cutting up land in a certain way. It's not the easiest thing. It's sort of like a complex real estate deal times 1,000.
Unlikely the gift of peace is near. In London, Jacqueline Robson, 7 News.
Ambulance Victoria workers have walked off the job for 24 hours over what they claim is a two-tiered pay system. The team tasked with fixing ambulances and equipment say they're paid less than their rural colleagues.
The agreement that we're on expired in October, and still Ambulance Victoria has not even come to the table with a fair deal, with any deal.
We're a bit fed up, to be frank.
Ambulance Victoria says it's confident they can reach a solution. Australia's grip on the Ashes urn is strengthening. Rebecca Maddern, some serious firepower is returning for the third test.
Yes, it is, Peter. A huge boost for the Aussies, with Pat Cummins getting through one final session before heading to Adelaide. We'll have details shortly. Also, an uphill battle for a Pies star as two Blues admit they're still coming to terms with life at Icon Park. And one of the biggest names in the NBA could be on the move. That and more coming up shortly.
Thank you very much, Beck. Victoria's health system is in the spotlight tonight with a bitter fight for funding brewing over aged care. That's next on 7 News. Also ahead, Time magazine names its Person of the Year, and you won't believe the decision. The Royals spring a Christmas surprise at Clarence House. And later, food experts set the record straight about what you should and shouldn't eat over the festive season.
Seven News, brought to you by Origin.
It's hard to juggle 3 things at once. That's why at Origin we offer gas, internet.
A pedestrian is in hospital with life-threatening injuries after he was hit by a car in Sunbury. It happened on Lancefield Road around 7 o'clock last night. A 29-year-old Bacchus Marsh man was airlifted to the Alfred Hospital with critical injuries. The driver is assisting police with their investigation. The nation's health ministers have failed to come up with an agreement to fund hospitals as more elderly patients are stranded in wards waiting for aged care beds. The deadlock is threatening to spill into the new year, with doctors at breaking point.
A showdown meant to revive hospital funding, but once again, negotiations have flatlined.
It's very frustrating for all of us.
At the heart of the issue, 3,000 elderly patients across the country languishing in public hospitals, a third of them in Queensland, 850 in New South Wales, 250 in Victoria, waiting for aged care, home care or NDIS packages, fit for discharge but nowhere to go.
They're effectively homeless, stuck in our hospital system. It is also awful for other patients who need our hospital system for emergency care.
Doctors warn it'll only get worse as Australia deals with an ageing population.
Hospitals are dangerous and unfriendly places for older people. You need to be interacting with your family, with your friends, with your community.
On the table, the Commonwealth offering an additional $33 billion plus $2 billion to address the bed blocks, as long as the states lift their funding of the NDIS.
This is a very generous offer.
We think probably between another $7 and $8 billion is necessary.
We need to get as close to that as possible.
It's hoped an agreement can be reached before Christmas. If not, the federal government has warned it'll spend the money on other health priorities, including urgent care clinics.
We are planning fallback options in the event that we can't strike a deal.
I hope it doesn't come to that, because the states are working hard, putting the options on the table.
Making clear their doors are still open. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Controversial adult star Bonnie Blue has been ordered to pay a $20 fine by a Bali court for flouting local road rules. The OnlyFans creator was accused of breaking the law by using an open-back truck to pick up men to film content with. She was given the choice of a fine or a month in prison.
Hey, Bonnie. Are you ready to see that?
Blue has been ordered to leave the country and is blacklisted for at least 10 years. Disney will now allow anyone to create AI-generated videos starring its most iconic characters from Mickey Mouse to Simba. It's been a big 24 hours for artificial intelligence, beginning with Time magazine's Person of the Year.
They're very rich and wield massive influence over our future, drawing on an iconic 1932 photograph of steel workers building New York skyscrapers. Time magazine has chosen these 6 men and 2 women as its Person of the Year, the architects of AI.
AI seems to be the answer for everything in 2025. You think about a product like ChatGPT, 800 million people are using it.
For some, it's a huge business opportunity. Disney sinking $1 billion into a partnership with OpenAI.
Well, first of all, what we're doing here is we're licensing about 200 characters for users of Sora to create their own, basically, videos.
From Mickey Mouse and Cinderella to Stormtroopers and Thor. Others not so confident the AI future is all upside. AI-generated actor Tilly Norwood, not so living proof. Job losses could soon be upon us.
Let's get to know each other.
I asked ChatGPT how many jobs AI could replace. It replied, tens of millions could be fully replaced over the next decade, depending on how quickly companies adopt AI. Some human estimates put it at between 1 and 5 jobs over the next 1 to 5 years. Today in Washington, President Trump signed an executive order that gave the White House supreme authority to set laws overseeing AI. In the United States, Jeff Parry, 7 News.
Queen Camilla has treated sick children to a very special Christmas lunch, inviting them into her London home, Clarence House. They helped decorate the tree as the Queen handed out meals, even introducing the little ones to reindeers, Blitzen and Dancer. One of them gave her a bit of a fright, but she recovered well. Back home, Jane Bunn joins us now. Jane, we've had a hot end to the week.
Mitch, temperatures absolutely soared, reaching a hot top of 32 in the city. Just a bit of bubbling cumulus over the beach there that produced very isolated thunderstorms near Avalon and across the Bellarine and over Point Cook, then crossing the bay. Both Laverton and Point Cook reached 33. In our northerly winds, it remains warm through the night, well above 20 for much of it. Then tomorrow's warm before thunderstorms and a cool change. I'll have the full details after sport, Mitch.
A change on the way.
Oh, yeah.
No unusual. Thank you, Jane. Victoria's top traffic cop has just teed off on drivers. Next, his blunt message to motorists, plus the two new confronting campaigns to save lives. Also ahead, a huge haul of drugs bound for schoolies seized on the Mornington Peninsula. 6 injured and 2 missing as a gas blast obliterates a family home. And the new app promising to help boost your superannuation balance. More than $170,000 worth of drugs bound for schoolies parties have been intercepted by police on the Mornington Peninsula. 9 people have been arrested. The drugs seized include cocaine, ketamine, MDMA, GHB, meth and cannabis. Our frustrated top traffic cop says the pandemic has turned too many Victorians into entitled, arrogant and reckless drivers. In a radical attempt to change that, the TAC is launching a confronting new road safety holiday campaign.
I'll drive.
Sure?
Yeah, we've only had a couple of beers.
The Transport Accident Commission returns to shock ads, graphically recreating the tragic consequences of drink driving. It hits Lisa Markovic hard. Her brother Daniel was killed by a drunk driver 21 years ago.
Really hard. Yeah, it's hard to not get emotional. Yeah.
Even after all these years?
Even after all these years.
Let's not drive.
Hopefully everyone watches that and realises that that is something that they could potentially be about to cause for themselves or someone else.
Watching that and an equally confronting ad about speeding, those hoping the realism reduces the number of tragedies they'll attend this Christmas.
It's not made up. It's not put on just to get a reaction. It's real.
Airing on TV and social media, the ads counter alarming post-COVID driving attitudes.
We are seeing a cohort of entitled, arrogant, reckless drivers on Victorian roads, and that is across all age brackets.
Lisa urges drivers to imagine her family's pain.
We think of Daniel all the time, but especially on Christmas, there's always that cloud hanging over us.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
A home has been obliterated in California with the explosion injuring 6 people. The force rocked multiple buildings as fire crews surrounded the scene to put out subsequent flames. 2 people believed to live there remain unaccounted for. And the man accused of killing Conservative influencer Charlie Kirk has faced court in person for the first time. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is charged with aggravated murder and prosecutors are planning to seek the death penalty. Today, Robinson's media team tried to block TV coverage of the case, with a judge yet to make a decision. Women in Australia are retiring with significantly less superannuation than men. But a new loyalty program is helping close the gap by rounding up daily purchases to boost long-term wealth.
For Jackie Ford, retirement keeps drifting further away.
Some of my friends are already talking about retiring in the next 5 to 10 years, and that just seems completely out of reach for me.
A mother of 3 and working full-time, she can't spare lump sum super contributions that financial experts recommend.
I want to make sure that I'm set up for retirement and I can live comfortably after working such a long career, I guess.
She's using a new tool called Tap the Gap, which rounds up everyday purchases and sends the extra cents into super.
We might buy a coffee for $4.50 and that 50 cents gets swept into your super for you.
It's similar to Raise and Sharesies, which round up money to invest. Wiser and Up do the same, but to pay off debt and save.
She could round up about $30 a month, and that doesn't feel like much, but over 30 years, that's a difference of $36,000 in her super.
The gender super gap
is a bit of a wicked problem.
For those aged 60 to 64, men have an average $396,000 in superannuation savings compared to $313,000 for women. It's a gap shaped by lower pay and years off work spent caring for children.
Women typically retire with around 25% less in their super than men.
I love the idea that I can really build my wealth while I'm shopping for everyday things for my family.
And help close the gap. Georgia Holland, 7 News.
'Tis the season for feasting and danger is lurking on the kitchen table. Next, the cooking mistakes not to make this Christmas. Also ahead on 7 News, $1 billion boost for locals in Frankston. Santa stops by to help Guide Dogs Victoria launch their annual appeal. And an emotion-charged farewell for a sunrise favourite.
Hello, ANZ is being sued by former CEO Shane Elliott after scrapping his $13 million bonus, citing widespread compliance and risk failures. Elliott's accusing the bank of breaching his exit deal, ANZ vowing to fight that. More than 1,200 jobs will be saved at Australia's largest aluminium smelter, the Albanese government agreeing to supply Rio Tinto's Tomago site with subsidised power to keep the plant open. UBS is tipping a strong 2026 for copper, lithium and gold on tight supply and rising demand, but it's expecting iron ore and coal to lag. A gold surge overnight helping to buoy commodities, pushing the ASX to a 3-week high. Austell slid after South Korea's Hanwha got the green light to increase its stake. The Aussie dollar is buying about 67 US cents.
Frankston Hospital's $1 billion upgrade is all but complete, with major construction works now wrapped up. The renovation will allow staff to treat an additional 35,000 patients a year.
What we've done here is we've built an extra 12 stories to the hospital, complete with a helipad.
The upgraded facilities will open to patients on January 20th. They're the mistakes many Australians make when it comes to preparing food at Christmas. From sitting frozen chicken out in the sun to eating days-old pasta. Tonight, an expert is setting the record straight on the bad habits making us sick.
'Tis the season to feast and be merry.
Prawn cocktails with seafood sauce is my go-to.
We go overboard on desserts.
I love chicken, man. I do, yeah.
But occasionally, it ends like this, with a generous side serving of salmonella.
I've heard someone compare that to worse than giving birth. You know, it makes you really ill. Lots of people end up in hospital.
Up to a third of gastro cases in Australia are linked to contaminated food. And Christmas makes health experts especially anxious. High on their list, the way we defrost chicken.
In front of the windowsill or just on the porch where the dog can't get it.
I just leave it out in the warm water. It was just what I saw on YouTube. Leave it in like some hot water in the sink, right?
No. The best way to defrost is in the fridge overnight. You know, and that's not just for poultry, it's actually for all food.
And if you're lucky enough to have leftovers, even rice and pasta have the same use-by date as meat.
I would say never longer than 2 to 3 days in the fridge.
Of course, if you freeze your leftovers, they'll last much longer. But you can only defrost them once. And when you serve it, make sure it's piping hot. Anything left after that goes straight in the bin.
Yeah, I do have to look after my gut health too.
Jonathan Edwards, 7 News.
Now, if you're in the market for some fun this weekend, tonight's Pick in Vic is for you. Here's Bethan Yeoman.
If you missed out on Black Friday sales and don't fancy a trip to a busy shopping centre, why not pick up your presents at one of many Christmas markets around Melbourne this weekend? On Saturday, you can find handcrafted goods, jewellery and clothing at the Heidi Christmas Market in Bali and the Makers Market in Eltham. Or for a bit of European flair, pop down to the German Christmas Market in East Melbourne on Sunday for pretzels and bratwurst. If you live out east, don't miss the White Horse Carols tomorrow night. It kicks off at 5:30 p.m. with free rides and face painting. Or for something completely different, visit the Arts Centre for its new Diva exhibition, showcasing costumes worn by historical icons like Judy Garland, Cher, Prince and Kylie Minogue. It's here until the end of April.
Thanks, Beth. Santa has paid guide dogs Victoria an early visit to meet the next generation of little helpers. The Christmas appeal aims to raise $300,000 to fund their training program.
The generosity of the Victorian community has existed for nearly 70 years, and today we still depend on those wonderful people.
More than 200 guide dogs are currently helping vision-impaired Victorians. Mark Beretta has been a much-loved member of the Channel 7 family for 3 decades, and today, after 22 years on Sunrise, Beretta's signed off for the final time.
This is the ultimate privilege, this job, you know, the people you get to meet. And I just mean, like, not just the team here or the sports people, it's the people in the street. As we well know, you know, our viewers are just the most magnificent people.
Beretta's, along with the Sunrise team, we wish you all the very best. Rebecca Maddern's along with Sport and Beck, the Aussie skipper, back in business.
Yeah, Mitch skipper Pat Cummins is ramping up for his return in the 3rd test at the Adelaide Oval, while the tourists hope a holiday turns into a circuit breaker. Also ahead, the uphill battle facing one of Collingwood's most dangerous players. The head-spinning move 2 Blues brothers are still coming to terms with. And could another blockbuster trade shake up the NBA? Welcome back. Aussie captain Pat Cummins has had a final tune-up before heading to Adelaide for next week's series-defining 3rd Ashes test. As the Poms wrap up their week away in Noosa, former England captains say the mid-tour sabbatical might just save the series.
An early net session in Sydney, Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon all but locked in for Adelaide comebacks. Cummins posing today in Sydney Thunder Lime. Teammates in baggy greens keen to welcome back their full-time test captain.
A great leader needs to perform from the front, and he certainly does that.
If the wicket's flat or if there's a spot where someone needs to do some hard work, he's always in there doing it.
He's personable, he's a deep thinker, he's got conviction, all traits that I like in leaders.
Not all England fans and media have piled on the Poms for going to the beach and playing golf on the Sunshine Coast.
If you're 2-0 down, you're going to get stick. But, you know, what are they supposed to do? Sit in a darkened room and eat bread and water?
We're only seeing them at the beach and on the golf course and having the odd beer or two. But no doubt behind doors, they've been doing quite a bit of soul searching.
The media perception is, these guys don't care, they're having a holiday at Noosa. They'll be hurting more than anyone. If it's a couple of days resetting.
But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about what they do. I don't care, and I hope they lose.
And hoping his long-time test opening partner Usman Khawaja gets an Ashes recall after missing the 2nd test with back spasms.
Yeah, I've had breakfast with him and been on the phone to him. He's going fantastic. He's doing everything he can to manage his situation.
It was a quiet final day in Noosa for the England camp, but they did finally get off the mark, with a few players notching up a run this morning. There were plenty of runs made by the locals on the beach this week, and plenty of fans too. They'll need them when they try to keep the series alive in Adelaide next week. In Noosa, Tom Wilson, 7 News.
From red ball to white ball, highly rated Victorian young gun Ollie Peake's predicting big things for the Renegades in BBL 15.
The whole squad this year is really exciting. I think there's a lot of belief that we can sort of blow it away a little bit.
The Renegades kick off their campaign against the Heat on Monday night in Geelong. Collingwood star forward Bobby Hill is facing an uphill pre-season battle because of a hamstring injury. It's left the Norm Smith medalist needing to make up major ground as he fights to regain his place in the Pies team.
Another setback for one of Collingwood's most dangerous weapons. Bobby Hill has faced an interrupted start to pre-season at Olympic Park, battling a hamstring issue. The club already had him on a modified program before the injury, meaning he's yet to complete main training. There is optimism that he'll return to full training in the new year. It comes after the 25-year-old managed just 1 game after round 15 last season due to personal issues and a lack of conditioning. Across town, it was a gruelling 3.5 hours in the sun for the Blues.
Obviously the weather was really hot today, which was nice, sort of used to that up in Sydney.
Sam Walsh looked at peak fitness while his protege Jagger Smith was still in a no-contact hat, recovering from an ACL injury early this year. Former Gold Coast son Ben Ainsworth is on light duties until the new year after his foot was stepped on. as recruits Will Hayward and Ollie Florent plotted opening round revenge on their old side, the Swans.
Nah, to be honest, I had to sign a 5-year deal, so I was expecting, to be playing up in Sydney for the rest of my career.
We were both sort of celebrating the night it went through. So, really exciting, and it was a pretty funny experience to be able to do it over in South America.
Up north, Sam Draper has been endearing himself to the Lions fan base.
As we saw on Channel 7 coverage at the cricket, they made themselves right at home amongst the group, which was awesome. Drapes would be great. He's pretty exciting. He probably could turn into a bit of a cult hero for us, I think.
But it's the work on the field that has earned him the affection of his teammates, all except maybe his ruck partner, Darcy Fort.
I just did my first little bit of stoppage craft with him, tapping it down to me. I think he tapped the first one and I said something like, "Oh, that's beautiful." And Forty goes, "Oh, you haven't said that to me in 5 years." So.
Xander Maguire, 7 News.
Inside his own gym while trying to rebuild his career, Tim Zhu was verbally lashed by the trainer of Anthony Velasquez before Wednesday's comeback fight in Sydney.
He quit once. You know what I mean? He's going to probably quit again. I know my boy ready to fight. Tim Zhu's ready to retire. We're going to help him out.
Honestly, I just can't wait to get in there and punch his face. That's what I was thinking.
OK then, Zhu was also slammed for replacing his entire team after losing 3 of his last 4 fights. And with the future of superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo clouded, the Bucks delivered a timely reminder of why he should stay in Milwaukee. Entering the clash having won 10 of its last 12, the red-hot Celtics blew a 14-point lead to come up short.
Jericho Sims, tough screen. Bobby Portis, a walk-up 3. Superman! Summertime BP!
The Bucks winning at home 116-101. Punch him in the face, I suppose, if you're a boxer.
Sort of the name of boxing, isn't it?
It's a bit brutal, isn't it?
It is brutal. Thank you very much, Beck.
Pleasure.
Jane's back with the forecast. And Jane, how long does the heat stick around?
Well, Mitch, through the night, yes, and into tomorrow. That's ahead of a late change. And on tonight's bright side, forget hungry hippos. What about a ravenous rhino? Hello again. The cool change isn't until tomorrow afternoon. That means we have a hot night ahead. It peaked at 32 in the city. The beach is certainly the spot to be, as it's likely to remain well above 20 for much of the night. Very isolated thunderstorms popped up near Avalon and Lara, moving over the Bellarine. Point Cook moving over the bay. They're also on the ranges to our east, but those aren't coming into the Melbourne area. This minor storm risk increases tomorrow. Today's thunderstorms developed on the eastern ranges. Most of the severe storms are on the eastern side of the border, but the ones in Gippsland can bring damaging winds, large hail and heavy rain. It has reached 30 along parts of the coast. High pressure to our east brings the heat. A trough brings the stormy conditions fed by humid air from the Pacific. That will slowly cross the southeast overnight and tomorrow, with the threat of thunderstorms, then a cool change. Here is the heat to end the week in northerly winds. Here are the thunderstorms ahead of the trough. As that trough is so slow moving, so is the storm threat zone. By later tomorrow, they're still going in central and eastern Victoria. And the cool change is only over the southwest of the state by late tomorrow afternoon. But it is right across the south on Saturday night and Sunday. We'll reach the bottom of the temperature roller coaster on Monday before swiftly rising again by mid next week. Around the nation tomorrow, Brisbane generally dry. Sydney's next burst of wet weather is Saturday night into Sunday morning. Thunderstorms are a risk in the afternoon and evening in Canberra. A morning cool change in Hobart, and while Adelaide hit 39 today, it's more than 10 degrees cooler tomorrow. Perth has the heat until Monday. To Victoria, showers and thunderstorms east of the trough, then a cool change. That trough moves slowly, stalling over the west during the morning before inching eastwards in the afternoon. Any thunderstorms in the northeast quarter may be severe, with large hail and damaging winds. Closer in after a warm night, it is generally dry in the morning. The afternoon brings the risk of thunderstorms generally across northern and eastern suburbs. The cool change arrives in the afternoon, then we have colder showers at night. Remaining above 21 all night, tomorrow should reach 27. Possible storms in the afternoon before colder showers at night. To the 8-day outlook, the coolest day in the outlook is Monday. We've got cloud and the odd shower on both Sunday and Monday, 21, 17 and 21. Then we rapidly warm up again, about 34, 36, 33. Sunshine all in through here. Warm starts to the day as well, and then we'll feel a cool change coming through either next Friday or into Saturday. 27 is the top tomorrow after a warm conditions all night. The risk of afternoon storms, then colder showers. Now to tonight's bright side. Born at 55 kilograms, white rhino Jabulani has tipped the scales at a tonne for the first time. At 15 months old, he's packing on 2 kilos a day on a grass diet.
Jabulani's got a lot of energy, just the amount that he eats. He's definitely got his summer body happening and ready for the wallows.
He follows a rigorous exercise regimen, rolling, running and play fighting with his dad. He's the zoo's first successfully mother-raised rhino in more than 20 years. That is very cute indeed, Mitch.
Thank you very much, Jane. And that's the way it is this Friday, the 12th of December. Thanks for your company. For now, from the 7 News team, good night.